Hello, Scream Demons, and welcome to the Screams from the Basement podcast.
This is the scariest horror podcast on this side of the Black Lagoon. Screams from the Basement discusses the best double features the genre has to offer.
We also interview the industry's finest that make our screams become nightmares. I am one of your creepy co-hosts. I am Casey.
And I'm Sam the Damned, and let's get screaming as we're joined for this William Castle double feature by the Queen of Castle, the author of the film you are about to see. Please join us in welcoming back to the show, Haley Newlin. Haley, how are you?
Good. Thanks so much for having me back. This is just one of the most fun podcasts I've ever been on.
Well, we're excited to have you back because we had a blast talking about your book and just geeking out about William Castle and Vincent Price. And we're like, we have to do we've not talked about them besides that show. So we're like, we have to do a double feature now.
Yeah, that's probably why I love your podcast so much, because you guys genuinely enjoy the William Castle and Vincent Price rants. So I need more spaces like that in my life.
Oh, hell yeah. We're definitely a space for that. We love finding people who have like very specific tastes, I guess, in horror, and it's always fun to see someone that's super passionate about like a certain filmmaker or a certain style of movie. And so yeah, whenever we can find that, like we like to poke at that and see what happens. Like,
it's funny
tell
because
us more.
Yeah, I totally agree. But you know how many times I've been asked, like, depending on where you are, it's either your niche or your niche. What is your niche or your niche? And I'm like, I guess I don't really know. And then I think this book idea came to me, and like all of that love just came rushing back, and I was like, there it is. Like that's what it is. And so it took all this time for me to remember what it was that really got me into all of this, and here we are.
Here we are talking about, I would say these are probably, are these the two most popular William Castle movies? Do you think just for general audiences, these might be the two that people most know about, especially with the remakes that came out in the late 90s, were they both early No, House on Haunted Hill was 99. So yeah, late 90s, early 2000s.
So I would say absolutely to House on Haunted Hill. 13 Ghosts I'm a little bit more hesitant on, because I find that people are surprised that it's a remake. And at least in corners where I've spoken to people. But I've also found that even like really seasoned horror fans, seasoned Vincent Price fans, weren't super familiar with The Tingler either. Like, I've gone on podcasts and people are saying, oh, I love House of Wax, I love House on the Haunted Hill, but they hadn't seen The Tingler. And so I guess really it's House on the Haunted Hill, in my opinion, that probably made him who he is, what made him kind of iconic.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think like House on Haunted Hill is one of those that's like a staple for Castle and Price.
Yeah.
And so I feel like, yeah, like that's, whereas like, yeah, 13 Ghosts. I feel like so it was funny. When I was doing preliminary research before I'd watched either of these movies, I knew it was 13 Ghosts and House on Haunted Hill. And for whatever reason, I was like, oh yeah, we're doing a Vincent Price double feature. And then I was looking up 13 Ghosts. I'm like, Vincent Price isn't in this. What are we doing? And I'm like, oh yeah, it's William Castle.
And I so relate to that, because every time I watch 13 Ghosts, I watched it with my boyfriend the other night, and I literally said, I can't stop looking for Vincent Price. Like, and it's like, the guy deserves a break. He did 2 films with Castle in 1959, but
right.
I mean, and I could, like, if I really think about it, I can figure out where he might have gone too. Like, it's for the most part, it's a fairly simple script. We love Castle, but and Rob White, it's a fairly simple script, but I think it could have been a little bit better with Vincent Price. Just saying.
Yeah, we will talk about that. That might be my only gripe with that movie, because So we're gonna jump into House on Haunted Hill first, which was obviously, it was a rewatch for all of us. 13 Ghosts was a first time watch for both Sam and I, so we're fresh to that one completely. So
I feel very fresh to it, because I had just returned to it when you guys sent it to me. I was like, oh, okay. So to me, it felt like you guys were taking like a deep track, so I was pretty impressed.
We didn't intend on that. We just, I think that was just what we we're also like suckers. I don't know. I shouldn't speak for Casey, but I'm a sucker for those. They're not very good, but the Dark Castle remakes from the late '90s, early 2000s, like they're pretty hokey and pretty bad, and like the CG in most of them is terrible. But I don't know. I grew up watching those too, so like I don't know.
So I have a confession. I've never seen the House on Haunted Hill remake.
It's really not good.
That one's not as. I think 13 Ghosts is a ton of fun.
Okay, I have seen that one. I don't know why
House on Haunted Hill. I have not watched it in a while. It was like one of the first horror movies I ever remember sneaking behind the couch to watch.
That's really cool, actually.
Just because it was on TV on whatever channel that my dad was watching, and I just remember like peeking around the corner trying to watch it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But yeah, Sam, at some point we will do I know it's on our list of stuff to do a Dark Castle. That's probably why we paired these two movies together, to talk about the remakes at some point. But we're going to jump into the originals with our William Castle double feature. Let's kick things off with House on Haunted Hill, 1959. Both of these movies, directed by William Castle, written by Rob White. This one here stars Vincent Price as the eccentric millionaire, I would assume millionaire by 1959, Frederick Lauren, Carol Omart as his wife Annabelle, Lance is played by Richard Long, Dr. Trent played by Alan Marshall, Watson played by Alicia Cook Jr. I have never heard a male with the name Alicia before. That was interesting in looking that up. Nora is played by Carolyn Craig, and Ruth, played by Julie Mitchen. I think that's the cast. Yeah, that's everyone. There's a lot of people in this movie.
Yeah.
Sam, what is House on Haunted Hill all about?
Well, when a married couple decides to make their problem everyone else's problem, they'll invite a bunch of strangers into a house that they say is haunted, and then spend the rest of the evening fucking with them until someone dies and everybody freaks out. House on Haunted Hill.
I mean, that about covers it, right?
Yeah.
I didn't even have that written down. That was just my off-the-cuff description of this movie.
Loved it.
Every time I watch this, I'm always reminded, like, this is literally the story of a rich, bored, unhappy married couple just messing with people because they can, and it's so funny to me.
It's amazing, and I'm really excited to kind of talk comparisons with House on Haunted Hill and 13 Ghosts, because prior to 13 Ghosts, the women in William Castle films are pretty menacing and pretty, like there's always some kind of conspiracy or something like that. It's like in House on Haunted Hill, Annabelle is fantastic. I love her character.
Yeah, I love all the characters in both of these movies. I think that's something that makes like William Castle movies stand apart, is like his characters and how like interesting all of them are. And I know a big influence on Castle movies, and I think he did a remake of this, if I'm not mistaken. Did he do a remake of The Old Dark House?
I'm not sure. I'm actually not sure.
I'm not sure. But I know that was a big influence, that original Universal Old Dark House with Boris Karloff. In which like these two movies are both very similar to that premise of people in a creepy house with supernatural or crazy weird things happening with kooky characters. That's both of these movies. And yeah, I mean, Castle just knocks it out of the park with both of these movies in terms of cast and characters in these. Like the banter, I think that's the one thing that stood out to me more so this time, is the banter in this and how funny this movie is. This movie's like legitimately hilarious. Like,
yeah, remember the fun we had when you tried to poison me? Arsenic on the rocks.
Yeah, like, and that's so this movie kind of, I almost hesitate to even call it like straight up horror as much as it's just like a dark comedy, because the horror is not really in like anything actually supernatural. It's all
Right.
explained by the end. Like, it's two people messing with you and thinking you're in a haunted house. And I kind of love that. Like, I think that is one of the things that makes this movie kind of stand apart, is like, it's a little Scooby-Doo before Scooby-Doo existed, where it's like, no, it's some wealthy dickhead messing with people.
Exactly.
That was okay. So you bring up a question. You said everything is explained by the end.
Hey, mostly.
Here's my question for both of you: Is the house on Haunted Hill actually haunted?
No,
I know
but
by the end of the movie, spoilers for this old movie, but like, is this house haunted? Because we find out by the end, it's literally just Vincent Price and his wife messing with each other. And we find out that it's been the wife, like, faking her death, causing all these, like, quote unquote supernatural occurrences to happen. But there's a point where she's floating outside a window.
Yeah, and then the rope that moves on its own. Like,
Yeah.
It's like we kind of had some pretty cool scares, and then it's like we explain them away a little quickly. Sorry, I'm not going to critique. But in my opinion, I think where I struggle with the absolute yes or no is why can't I remember his name? But the man who, he's been in other B horror movies. He's like the guy who like his family has died in the house.
Pritchett?
Yes,
Mr. Pritchett?
Yeah, and so I'm a little confused on him because his fright seems pretty genuine. Like, even though he doesn't necessarily have these big reactions to, like, there's a head in this suitcase or whatever, which, you know, we find out is part of, like, the big scheme and everything. But I feel with him there is some, like, genuine, like, he believes something is there. And so I think just how solid his belief is, even though he never makes a huge argument for it. He never goes through and says, here's why, and this, and this happened necessarily. I think the actor and the character does a good job at just kind of making you think, this could be something. And I think that kind of keeps the horror or spookiness, like, kind of in the background, even during the funnier moments.
Oh, yeah. For sure. I love it. I love Pritchett in this. He's so funny because, like, he is just the most morose son of a bitch you've ever met in your life. Nothing is ever happy with him. Like, he is always there to bring the vibe down.
It's like, what are you still doing here, man? Like, if this place makes you so miserable, get out.
Like, I swear, he's just in the middle of a psychotic break when this movie starts. Like, that's
He's
my
the
read on
alcoholic character, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
he's the one that's drunk by
so,
the...
So this is his house, correct?
Yes.
That Vincent Price and his wife are renting out for this weirdo dinner party. To answer my own question, I do think the house is also haunted. I think it's more fun if it's also
Casey,
haunted.
Yeah.
Well,
the house
weirdo.
is not haunted. It's
It's
haunted
the hill.
The hill is haunted. The house is not.
I don't know. Looking at that house from the outside, I immediately look at that house. I'm like, that's haunted. 100%.
Oh, I immediately look at that and think that's a prison.
And yeah, I was going to say that's so funny because at the time that was critics, like, one of their biggest things they hated about House on Haunted Hill was they thought the house didn't look haunted. They thought it looked like such an art house, or, you know what it was? It was, like, considered, like, architecturally pretty whatever at the time. And so it was an odd pick, but I think it works. I like it.
Yeah.
I do too. I like the house a lot, especially when you get the opening where all the cars are coming up the hill to it. It looks so cool. It actually, like, in the remake of 13 Ghosts, that house looks more like this house than the house in 13 Ghosts. It's kind of weird how the Dark Castle movies kind of melded these together. Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes, like, the interiors, you know what I mean? Like, there's part of the House on Haunted Hill where the interior almost seems so much more like dark Gothic mansion, and then we almost have this, like, futuristic sort of looking art house on the outside. But in my opinion, it works. I do like it.
Yeah, like, the outside, it does kind of create this, like, uncanny effect where it's like the outside of the house does not quite match what is inside.
Yeah.
Like, outside does not look like a house that Vincent Price is frequenting.
You're
and
so
doing
right.
his weird stuff.
Yeah,
but
it
then
doesn't
you go
have...
in.
Yeah, it's not like surrounded in fog or maybe, I mean, I guess it is kind of like a Dark Knight, but you know what I mean? It's not like the dilapidated, like creaky porch and stuff like that. Yeah, that's very true. But
Yeah.
It just has giant floating heads on the outside. That's
just
what it
giant
has.
floating heads and food and drink and ghosts.
One of the best things about both of these movies is their intros. Like,
Yes.
100%. Yes.
William Castle knows how to open a movie. Holy shit.
Oh my god! And I think that was I guess I should save it, but I think that was one of the most fun things about rewatching 13 Ghosts. And when I had not that this is not to make this all about my book, but when I had the idea for the film you're about to see, a huge part of the book just came from how much I loved those introductions. Like, and to hear that sometimes when the movies make it to DVD or when they were on TV, they would cut those. Oh, I didn't know that. Like, so I had somebody tell me that they saw 13 Ghosts, saw it strictly in black and white, so didn't see any of the blue and red effects, and then didn't get the introduction. And if you're not seeing the introductions in William Castle movies, what are you doing?
Oh yeah, no kidding. Like that's the whole tone setter. Like that's
what you're here for.
Yeah, like watching 13 Ghosts for the first time, it just took that intro and I was like, I'm in. Like,
Yes.
Like, it's a tone setter. Like, his movies, and he knew they were kind of goofy and gimmicky and just kind of just fun little horror movies. They are 100% tone setters.
I love that you can tell that Vincent Price was just so down for this tone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he was just so up for what William Castle was doing, and I really like that, because people say the sad thing about William Castle is he died wanting to be taken seriously as a director and never quite got there. And I think the biggest disappointment to him was probably Rosemary's Baby, because he was so ready to make that as a serious film, but people just didn't trust him with it. But I think that Vincent Price always saw him as a serious serious director. Like, the way you hear him talk about it, he loves how much William Castle wants to be involved in films. He loved that he wanted to be a part of the marketing. Like, it wasn't just about making the movie like sell well or perform well. It was just that he really just had that much fun doing it. And I think Vincent really admired that.
Well, and you can see that in the craft. Like the lighting in these movies is incredible. Like,
use of shadows.
Yeah. I mean, they're cheap. They can be a little hokey sometimes, but like the guy knows how to put if I was watching this as a teenager in the 1960s, I am scared shitless.
Yeah.
Like, there are some genuine good, like, iconic images from both of these movies that I'm like, that would have scared the living hell out of me if I was watching this at a drive-in in 1960.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I did a watch party recently, and we watched the Tingler, and so many people hadn't seen the Tingler for the first time. And there's this scene where the theater guy, what's his name, Ollie has a mask on. I won't say too much more because that's a little spoiler, but anyway, he like sits up from a bed, like you see a body flat on the bed, and then he sits up so fast, and like 4 or 5 people simultaneously were like, shit, I didn't expect that, or oh my gosh, that actually got me. And I'm like, yeah, like these are things that we weren't quite seeing. Like, I mean, there's obviously very recognizable like skeletons and just certain imagery and stuff, but I do think that Castle did kind of push audience members a little bit. Like, there's a severed head in this movie in a poor woman's suitcase. Like,
there are some legitimate scares in this movie that still like get under my skin watching it this time. The 2 big ones for me are in the cellar with the old lady, of like the first time you see her just down the hallway and she's just standing there and just kind of floats away.
Yeah, and
terrifying
I love that
imagery.
That's such like a classic, like gothic, like the creepy caretakers, and and it's like, it's almost like it's supposed to be kind of gimmicky, but it turns out maybe even scarier than they expected.
And then later, when they're like checking in the cellar, and she appears again and like just floats in front of Nora, and it's like, I don't know, that one got me this time, of like legitimately, I'm like, oh, that's really creepy, and just, I don't know, like it didn't feel like of the time. It felt ahead of its time with its jump scare.
Can we talk about how much we were gaslighting for Nora? Nora had a head in her suitcase. Nora's the one who the creepy caretaker is coming at, and we're like, she's hysterical woman.
Yeah, and she's the one that they want to pin the murder on at the end.
Yes, yeah. Oh, this silly girl with the gun.
This poor girl goes through so much hell in this movie where, like, I'm like, she's gonna need therapy for years after
Yeah, and
this.
she's just looking for a little financial security. Like, that's all, you know.
And it's not even
she's the
for
most
her, it's for her
relatable character in
family.
this whole thing, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they definitely did a good job, I think, at painting her to be, like, pretty innocent, but I do love that she wasn't just, like, fainting all over the place. You know, she's like, well, do you want to see that head? Like, I'll show you the head that was in my suitcase. Like, she really... Homegirl's like, no, here's what I saw, and I do like that, because, you know, you see some of these older horror movies, and while I love them, they do the thing where the woman faints. Oh my gosh, we can't handle this, we're just gonna faint. And she's kind of, I love when she goes off and is like, well, do you want to see one of those heads? Do you want to see the head in my suitcase? It's amazing.
Yeah. I also love, like, when they do, when she's talking about the old woman in the cellar and the guy who, like, grabbed her around the mouth and everything, and they're like, and they're just like, oh, well, that's the help. She's blind. And I'm like, that doesn't explain how she was moving.
Explain anything.
Like, I'm like, saying, yeah, that's just the help in this house does not make any of it better. If anything, that's just worse. Oh, so you mean these creepy old people that are just, like, harassing me are just there?
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, I get why Vincent's, we don't have to give the whole thing away, but I mean, I get why Vincent's character wasn't, like, so quick to say, you know, oh, that's, you know, she might be onto something, but I do feel like maybe a couple of the characters who were kind of in on what was going on might have, like, benefited from them believing that there was ghosts, and they're all just kind of like, nah, Nora's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it kind of makes sense now that we've been talking about them, you know, trying to pin it on Nora. It's the doctor who's in on this, so he's trying to, like, sedate her, like, the entire movie. He's like, she's a crazy person.
Right.
You need to give her meds, like.
And that just goes to show how easy it is. Once one man can declare a woman crazy, hysteric, the rest are like, that's right. That is right.
Ugh. And you'd like to think that we've changed since, you know, 1959, but we haven't.
No. I mean, we have more good men than we've had in the past. I'll say that. I do think, like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, like, people are starting to wake up a little more, maybe.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say men as a whole are good, but I could say you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
In a world full of Dr. Trents, be a Vincent Price.
Exactly.
Don't be a Vincent Price. He killed his wife.
Be a weirdo millionaire who makes all of his personal problems other people's problems by throwing people into vats of acid.
I love the vat of acid. I really, you know what? I mean, it's obviously, like, a key point of the movie, but I don't think people talk about just the presence of it throughout the film is kind of foreboding. Like, you know, people are all the way by the door just coming into the cellar, and you see it and you're just like, oh my god, you guys, like, it's right there. And even the ending is kind of ridiculous how it's used, but it's still like, damn, you know, like, it's you're still pretty aware of what actually just happened, and it's gnarly.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I like more haunted house movies need a vat of acid in the basement.
Yes.
Because it's just it's such a weird detail to add into this. And you're right, it's literally Chekhov's vat of acid. The minute it's introduced, you're like, well, that's coming back.
Yeah, someone's falling in there.
Crimson Peak have, like, vats or something like it?
God,
it has the clay, the red clay stuff that's in the basement.
Yes. Yeah. So that kind of made me think of that when I first saw Crimson Peak.
Yeah.
Another great scare in this is, so Nora has an incredible scream in this. Like, I think when people talk about great screams in horror movies, we don't talk about House on Haunted Hill enough in terms of great screams.
Hell yeah, Casey, that is so true.
And there's a great one where she sees the body hanging, and there's this hand that comes around the door. And it's just this hand, like, creepy hand right in front of her. She lets out this just primal scream. It's incredible. She has an incredible scream.
Yeah, you're so right. I don't think it's, like, it's definitely a huge part of the film that I appreciate, but I think I guess William Castle kind of spoils us a little bit because we always get pretty solid screams in the first few seconds of his movies. You know, we have it in 13 Ghosts, we have it on House on Haunted Hill, we even have it in The Tingler. Like, I literally have to warn people, like, when I show them The Tingler, because I find those screams, like, particularly kind of, like, I don't know what the right word is, but it's almost, like, unsettling. If it's turned too loud, you're like, oh, God. House on Haunted Hill, I can kind of take. 13 Ghosts, I could kind of take, but The Tingler, for some reason, that scream, I'm like, okay, that's kind of, that's a little loud, that's a little much. Sometimes I'll even mute it, like, going into it, just, like, my dogs also don't like it. It's strange.
Yeah, I definitely had a bit of a jump scare going into House on Haunted Hill this time around because I forgot that it opens with like the sound effect of the scream, and I just have my TV up like because I'm like it's an older movie, so I'm gonna turn it up, right? And then that scream hits, and you're just like Jesus Christ.
Can you imagine like being in a theater or being in your car like at the drive-in, and especially with those like little clipped on speakers, like whoever is right next to that speaker is getting it.
Yeah. The sound effects he has in both of these movies are insane. There's some in 13 Ghosts that I find hilarious for all the right reasons.
Yes.
I think that's such a good way to describe William Castle movies. Hilarious for all the right reasons. Like, yeah. You know what I mean? Because like some of his stuff is so ridiculous, so goofy, but it still feels so right, and like that's William Castle.
Yeah, 100%. Like he knows exactly what tone he's going for. Like
yes,
people who diminish these by saying, "Oh, they're kind of silly." Like the intention is to be a little silly.
Yeah,
like, the intention is to disarm you with some of this stuff being like kind of funny or silly or goofy, but then having those like genuine, like the skeleton that pushes his wife into the vat. It's a hokey effect, right? Yeah. But it's like you said, we've seen the vat, we know what it does, and so it doesn't matter that effect is hokey. The end result is like, oh my God, she just got eaten alive by acid. Like, yeah.
And you are so right, Sam, to say that like I think you're so right. The brilliance of the gimmicks is they are disarming. You're not going into it like you would like a Conjuring film and you're thinking, okay, this is about to be really scary. Like you're going into it like already kind of laughing at your buddy. If you're watching 13 Ghosts, you're getting ready with your little viewer and all the gimmicks that you're prepared for. And then you have some genuine scares or something really disturbing like somebody falling in a vat of acid. And so I think that's what is so awesome about William Castle is he really takes you through that range of emotions.
Yeah. And honestly, like the end with Vincent Price being just basically like everybody comes down and he's just like, yeah, my wife and the doctor were trying to kill me, but I got to him first.
Has this giant like contraption on that he's been like controlling the skeleton.
And he's just like, but I got to him first, and yeah, I mean, if you guys want to call the cops, like I'm ready to talk to him. He's just like at peace with it. Like he's just like, yeah, I killed her. I don't care.
Justice will decide.
Right. I'm just like, damn, that's cold. That's why you shouldn't be like Vincent Price, Casey.
Yeah. Listen, his wife was sleeping with her doctor, trying to kill him. He just got to them first. Like, I don't think he's necessarily in the wrong here.
So, what do we think?
He's not in the right.
Yeah, yeah. It's a gray area. I mean, she poisoned him with arsenic, or tried to at least. I love that too. I love that they just casually talk about. Remember the fun we had when he tried to poison me? It's something you ate, the doctor said. But can we? Okay, I had a point. I'm sorry, I lost it. ADHD brain.
You're good. That's me every episode.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I found it. I don't know why that validation was like there. It is. Can we talk about the fact though that Frederick Lauren supposedly had. Or he did. He had multiple wives before this one as well, who all died under mysterious circumstances. Yeah. That's interesting. But it's also like, if he has the money, I'm trying to figure out what he would have to gain. You know? Like, it's
See, I think he's just a weirdo millionaire who finds weirdo wives and they just try to kill each other. Like, I feel like there's 2 movies before this and 3 more movies after this of him doing the same thing of this, like, cat and mouse.
So he always catches the scheming wife eventually, you think?
It feels almost like it feels almost like a kink, if I'm being honest. Like it
You,
feels like
you're
that is
Sam, that
that
is
is
so
his
right.
kink. Like yeah, I just he's seeking out women who have this same like which one of us is gonna murder the other first kink, and it's like a game they play.
Yeah, because I do find that when Annabelle like is speaking to some of the other characters and almost kind of acting like she's afraid of Frederick, I almost find it kind of hard to believe. And I don't know if it's because I'm biased and impartial to Vincent Price, or if it's because I do kind of feel like there is some playfulness between them, even when they're talking about murder. There is something sensual in their exchange, and so I don't necessarily just pick up like blind hatred between them.
Yeah, I
No,
100% agree with that.
no. There is 100% a ton of sexual tension going on when they're talking about strangling and
Yeah,
poisoning each other. Yeah.
yeah.
Like
And
I
we're not
said,
here to
and then
kink shame
and,
Vincent Price and
No,
his
no.
we're just saying we
all of
figured
his
it out.
wives. Yes.
Oh my god, yeah, and I don't know. Their whole dynamic is so funny because it's so weirdly toxic, but they're also kind of perfect for each other. And then, it feels like it's part of the kink to bring in other people and mess with them in this like weird sex game
Yeah,
that they're playing.
yeah, and they kind of echo it a little bit in the Tingler. There's kind of a similar relationship, except we know early on, like or earlier on, we kind of see the wife as a little bit more menacing, vindictive, and all these things earlier on, and then we kind of see Vincent's character like slowly almost like kind of get there. Like he's not quick to the cat and mouse kind of playful thing like we have in House on Haunted Hill, but I mean they get there.
Yeah.
They kind of like joke about killing each other too, but for some reason you like really take them a little bit more seriously. There's also poison in that movie. The wife's trying to poison Vincent Price. That's
There's a
what I'm
lot of
saying.
people. There's a lot of people that compare Castle to Alfred Hitchcock. In many ways, I think Castle did a lot of this stuff earlier than Hitchcock, especially in the like
So
horror
appreciate you
thriller
saying
space.
that.
I mean, this is a whole
Yep.
year before Psycho, and William Castle's doing this weirdo stuff in this movie.
Yeah.
But I think both are very, very similar in terms of what they've done for movies and what they did as directors and being like the face of their own movies. But also, like, I think Castle has a lot more fun and playfulness between his characters versus Hitchcock was a lot more like, oh, we're gonna kill the conniving wife
I was
versus
gonna
here like they're having fun with it.
I don't think that I think a huge difference between that is just that Hitchcock wasn't a very fun human being.
Yeah.
He I think I said that pretty gracefully.
He wasn't nice to women in real life. So
I was gonna say, and
it didn't
one of the
reflect onto the cinema.
exactly, and I didn't realize how much the poor women suffered on the set of The Exorcist. And then I went back
Oh yeah.
and heard the director speaking a little bit, and he was just like, Alfred Hitchcock said to make a good horror movie, make the women suffer, torment the women, terrorize the women. And I'm just like, and then you hear Kubrick like naming Hitchcock and then the dude who did The Exorcist as like his favorites. And I'm just like, I think William Castle is proof that, like Nora had a great scream. Nora had great reactions to this terror. And then you go back and you look at some of like the interviews and stuff during that time, and the women just had fun, and they were a part of the press tour, like House of Wax, like the women went everywhere on that press tour, and they talked about working with Vincent Price about, I know that's not a William Castle movie, but it's just, I'm not saying William Castle is perfect or anything. I'm sure, being a man back then, he sure wasn't. But I'm just saying, I think that there is such a key difference between them, and I do think that's because William Castle genuinely wanted people to have fun, even though the film's concepts were kind of dark, and Hitchcock's like, everything's dark, everything's miserable, my actors are miserable, mwahaha, like.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, is like I'm kind of glad we've stepped away from that preconception that a director has to be a tyrant on a set in order to be an artist. Like look, I love Kubrick's movies. Like I do, but like it is really hard to reconcile that with the way that he treated people, specifically women, in his movies. Like, you know, you watch The Shining and you're like, wow, this is great, but like, how much did he put Shelley Duvall through to get that performance out of her? And like, was that worth it?
Yeah.
I think she could have done that performance on any set. Like, she is a capable actress. You just need to let her act. You're
so right. Yeah. Hitchcock did not trust his actresses, and I think Castle really did. Hitchcock, and I think that just goes to show too that, you know, Hitchcock didn't see women as capable artists. You know, I think he really thought he had to shake them to this state. Because, you know, Kubrick's daughter even talks about how much, and this gets kind of swept under the rug, but Jack Nicholson also bullied Shelley Duvall pretty intensely. And Kubrick would even say, hey, did you see her kind of flinch at that? Like, now you should say that to her. And he's like, okay, like, you know, like, great idea. And so I really hate this idea that, like, people have to suffer to make good art. And I think even young artists, when they start to get into it, you know, they think that they write best in their tortured states or whatever it is. And, you know, that's probably what I did with like my second book. And then here I am with my third book, and I get to talk about William Castle and Vincent Price. And I think it's the best thing I've ever written. And so William Castle, I think just having him along with this journey, like this book writing journey, just reminded me to have fun with it. You know, like if you're taking it so seriously, like you're losing your passion, you know, like you got to get back to your passion and fun. And that's what William Castle was always there.
Yeah.
100%. Yes.
There's my rant.
More people need to have fun with movies. I'm going to throw it to you here, Haley, and help explain the big gimmick of this movie, which was Emergo here in the third act. The third act is like where they mostly used it, right? Is this the only time that they used it, was the skeleton at the end?
So I believe it was mostly at the end, although I heard when, so for just a little backstory, you guys know this, but William Castle kind of toured with his films sometimes, and he would bring these little gimmicks along. I love it. He would be in theaters like hours before the showing, just like putting the little vibrators under the seats for Percepto in the Tingler, and on House on Haunted Hill, a skeleton would come flying over the audience towards like the end of the film. And what's hilarious about this is I don't think I realized this. The skeleton they used in the audience was inflatable. And so like you have to think like, I never imagined that, and then so when I found out, it kind of like ruined the image for me for a minute, but I was just thinking about like how that would probably move, you know, just pretty unnaturally, I think, like compared to us, you know, it wouldn't be like limbs moving, it would just be the whole thing. And so I actually read, before I came on this to talk to you guys, I was reading some like newspaper articles about these gimmicks and people reacting to them like as they're coming out of the theater, and some people literally thought it was a ghost, because it's just like this inflatable blob, you know. So some people didn't actually make out that it was a skeleton, and they thought it was a ghost. And I'm just like, that is iconic. Like, so some people were literally like, go see House on Haunted Hill, there's a ghost in the audience. William Castle's like, it's a skeleton.
That's amazing. I love that. Because, yeah, in my head, every time I've pictured that gimmick, it's been like a classroom skeleton.
Like the skeleton that Castle uses in all of his movies. Exactly.
Yeah, it probably could have been the same skeleton from the movie. Yeah.
I don't know if it was like, was that a liability? Like it was too heavy? It could have hurt somebody?
Maybe.
Or was it the fact that it's a real skeleton he's using in the movie and he didn't want actual body parts flying over people?
That could be.
No, I don't think Castle cared about that.
I don't think so.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah, have always imagined it as like an actual like limbs moving skeleton.
Yeah. So I found that out today, and I was just kind of like, did that ruin it? But at the same time, like ghosts work too. Like if it frightened you and you thought you saw, like, so I guess it kind of worked out. That some people were like, there's just this shroud of white flying over me. I just also really appreciate the names he gave his gimmicks, like Emergo. So this one was called Emergo, with the skeleton flying over. We have Percepto in the Tingler, which is so funny that I find that less people know the Tingler, because I do think people who know William Castle, it's Percepto that he's most famous for. What I have like heard as far as gimmicks. What do you guys think?
Yeah, like because I've definitely heard more about the Tingler gimmick than the Tingler movie, for sure.
Isn't that strange?
Yeah, that is very strange, because you'd think that the movie would have some, like, the same sort of reputation that the gimmick essentially did. But yeah, it kind of reminds me of, like, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, where they made that movie to sell Wonka bars. But the movie, it's like almost the opposite, where, like, it'd be like if, it's like, it'd be if the Wonka bars took off and the movie flopped, is like what the Tingler that's just so crazy.
I mean, that's kind of what happened with Willy Wonka.
Yeah, but like the opposite direction.
The opposite direction of the Tingler.
And what I'm kind of realizing from that is that might be what contributed to William Castle not being taken seriously as a director. Like, so maybe within the Hollywood sphere, his gimmicks might have kind of like outshined his, is that how you say it? Outshone? Yeah. Outshined his the films themselves. And I find that people who go back and watch these movies now, like, when I saw it strictly in black, or 13 Ghosts strictly in black and white versus, with the red and blue, it kind of made me appreciate the film a little bit more. And so I do think that maybe people go back and they watch these films, we know the gimmicks and stuff, but you kind of appreciate the films themselves a little bit more too, if that makes sense. I don't know, maybe I'm saying that as if I was in the 60s. I saw it with the with the gimmicks.
It's kind of surprising, like, nowadays that, these movies, I think pretty much all of his big movies that we've talked about, The Tingler and House on Haunted Hill and 13 Ghosts, all have some sort of cult following and fan base.
Yeah.
That there aren't more, like, midnight screenings with the gimmicks nowadays. Yeah. It's kind of crazy we don't get, like, any of those anymore, like, for these movies. Of course, like, everybody does the Rocky Horror Picture Show every year. Yeah. With tons of gimmicks in that. And like, it's kind of crazy we don't get a midnight screening of House on Haunted Hill with skeletons flying
and how
into the crowd.
Perfect would that be with, like, moviegoers trying to save cinema right now? Like 70 years later, we bring back the gimmicks and we show these old horror films. And I have found that when people actually sit down to watch these movies, it's pretty rare that I have someone who's just like, that was terrible, I didn't like it. Like, some people will be like, the plot might have been a little here and there, but Vincent was fantastic, or the use of shadows, or even like the score, or whatever it might be. I find that people tend to really like these movies once they sit down and watch them. So I do think there could be something really cool about even like some smaller theaters, like putting on, I'm just saying, a Vincent Price marathon, Dusk Till Dawn would be pretty cool.
Yeah. I am currently, I just started this job a few months ago, but I am the assistant manager at a small theater that I'm, like, really hoping in October we can hit the programming pretty hard during the week and see if we can't do some of these fun things.
So I'll be making the road trip.
I will let you know for sure.
I would love.
I may or may not have already pitched House on a Haunted Hill.
Look at you.
I seriously, like, it's so crazy to me too, because now we have like 4DX movies, right? Where they're like vibrating the seats and they're spraying water at you and things. And I'm like, that is literally the same thing as what he was doing. He was making them
the Vegas
cinematic.
Sphere
like,
is literally just like
experience.
a multi-million-dollar William Castle gimmick.
Yeah. And he actually pitched a 3D movie to like Columbia or something. And they were like, no, that's a waste of money. It's not going to work. And then, like, within a year's time, like, everybody was trying to pick up, like, trying to get a 3D film.
Yep.
Not taken seriously. Look at him. And I think people are just like, oh, he was a great marketer. I'm like, it's so much more than that. Like, you also have to remember that this man did not have a formal education. Like, do you guys know how he got his start?
Mm-mm.
Bela Lugosi found William Castle. As a Dracula. Yeah. So when William Castle was 13, he saw Dracula on Broadway like 7 times. It was just obsessed. And he would like kind of sneak by the stage and look at what they were doing with the lighting and kind of sneak by the stage afterwards to like catch wind of the actors. And he actually spoke with Bela Lugosi And he said, "Hey, like it seems like you're really into this stuff." And he's like, "Yeah, it's pretty cool, especially seeing what they did with Dracula." So Dracula was probably one of the first examples of a gimmick that William Castle ever saw. It became so popular because people were like, there's such an intense fixation on blood, like in this show. And so they started to have nurses stand in the back of the theater for Dracula. And, William Castle would use that gimmick later. So anyway, Bela Lugosi offered him an assistant stage play, like director job at 13 years old. And so he dropped out of school then and went and toured. And so he literally made his way just taking different odd jobs on random films, random plays, and just kind of worked his way up into like self-production and direction. And I think that's pretty amazing, like for how intuitive he really became. Like, hey, 3D movies are going to be a thing. Hey, gimmicks are going to be a thing. And people were like, I don't know about that guy.
That is insane. I can't believe that.
I know.
Holy crap.
Yeah, I did not know that. Like, here's the thing. People bring up all the time, especially in this time era that we're talking about, the 50s, 60s, Roger Corman a lot. And I think there is a lot of positives you can give to Corman for what he was like predicting and doing in the film industry. William Castle was doing that exact same stuff at the time and wasn't a dickhead like Roger Corman.
Yeah, and see, and I love that you said that, because that's my point with Castle too, or with Hitchcock too. Is like some of the things we praise Hitchcock for, it's like Castle was doing that, and his actors had fun, like and people enjoyed working with him and trusted his actors and actresses to do their job.
100%. I'm gonna wrap up our discussion on House on Haunted Hill. Let's get to our final thoughts and ratings for this. Sam, I'll throw it to you first. What are your final thoughts on House on Haunted Hill, and how many vats of acid are you giving this out of 5?
Yeah, no, I love this movie. This is just a kind of pop on anytime sort of thing. It's a comfort watch. One of my favorite Vincent Price movies. Like, my favorite is probably House of Usher, but this one is a lot more fun, so I feel like I throw this one on a lot more. Yeah, this is such a fun little like gem from the 50s. I'd give this 4 out of 5 vats of acid. And tell anybody if they haven't seen it, like, you should check this one out. It's a ton of fun. Perhaps at the Coyote Twin later this year.
In October.
With Emerjo. Yeah.
Haley, what about you? What are your final thoughts, and how many vats of acid are you giving this?
So, just to echo Sam, this is absolutely a comfort watch. It's one I put on all the time. I think it becomes a comfort watch for everybody who really sees it. This is also, like, this is perfect Vincent Price. He's got the mustache, like the way he dresses, like what we know as the iconic Vincent Price exists within this film. I love the actresses in it. Like Casey said earlier, Nora does this fantastic, just like horror scream queen moment. It's amazing. And I think that this is one that has to be seen in black and white. Now, if you want to push me on why, I don't know. To me personally, I find the colorized version to be blasphemous. You have to do the black and white because, okay, I do know why. I'll say one more thing and then I'll shut up. But the use of shadows, and it's so much more evident when it's in the black and white versions. And I think what people don't appreciate is, the actors are sometimes wearing a shade of red or a shade of blue or something like that so that it will appear as it does in black and white. And so I just think that in itself is such an art form that we should keep appreciating and not just jump to the colorization.
Yeah. Agreed.
4 out of 5. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm right there with both of you. This might be my favorite Vincent Price movie. I don't know.
Is it your most watched?
Yeah, it's definitely up there. I love this movie. It's so much fun. I have a blast every time I watch it. Total comfort movie. I've never seen the colored version. It's kind of like Night of the Living Dead or like even It's a Wonderful Life. I know there are colored versions of all of those, and I'm like, no, like just gonna watch the original version the way it's intended to be seen. I'm gonna watch it that way. Also, like black and white for these type of movies, like adds to the comfort of them as well. So yeah, this movie, it rules. It's free. It's literally a public domain movie.
Yes.
You can literally watch it anywhere on any device, any way you watch movies, you can find House on Haunted Hill. So big thumbs up recommends from all of us.
Hell yeah.
All right, well, let's get to our first ad read here, since we're talking about gimmicks and directors and producers who are ahead of the curve. We're talking about our friends at Full Moon. We've joined the full... I'm not comparing Charles Band to William Castle, just so we're clear, Sam. I can see you laughing already.
Thank you.
We've joined the Full Moon Army, and we want you to take advantage of our exclusive offer to listeners from Screams from the Basement. Full Moon features best known for their video aisle classic franchises, Puppet Master, Subspecies, and the Evil Bong series. William Castle won't touch that with a 10-foot pole, just so we're clear. Is offering 10% off every order on fullmoonhorror.com when you use our discount code SCREAMS at checkout. This goes towards all in-stock items, including Blu-rays, DVDs, replicas, action figures, and so much more. Again, visit fullmoonhorror.com and use promo code SCREAMS at checkout to save 10%. 10. We're going to go 3 more than that in this next movie. We're going to 13 with this one, with William Castle's 13 Ghosts. Directed by William Castle, written by Rob White. No Vincent Price in this, even though Scooby-Doo would later use this title with Vincent Price for some reason. I don't know what the full story is there.
Why did I miss that?
Have you not
Have
seen
you ever
it?
watched the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo? Okay.
I have, but for some reason that connection escaped
It's weird,
me.
right?
Yeah, that's so
Yeah, it
I'm
is
gonna do some
weird.
digging. You know I got it.
It's probably
There
why I
has to be a
thought
story.
Vincent Price was in 13 Ghosts until this episode.
That's so, yeah, anybody 90s earlier, that's where our heads are. We're like, we know this, and Vincent Price.
Oh, I was so excited for you for a minute where I thought you hadn't seen it yet. I'm like, oh, you are in for such a treat.
You reminded me that I need a rewatch. So
Yeah,
I feel
yeah.
like every time I see you guys, I am in for some kind of cinematic treat, because you, 13 Ghosts, it's been so long. Like, there was so much I forgot. And
Yeah.
some things I missed, that me and Casey are.
We'll see if we're connected on
Yeah,
this
gonna
weird
discuss,
random
yeah.
factoids for this movie. So let's jump into 13 Ghosts. The cast includes Donald Woods as Cyrus. You have Rosemary DeCamp as Hilda. You have his wife Hilda, excuse me. Their daughter Medea, played by Joe Morrow. Their son Buck, Charles Herbert. And the kind of sleazy lawyer, Ben Rush, played by Martin Milner. We have another big cast member. We'll talk about when she appears on screen. We'll leave it at that. Sam, what is 13 Ghosts about? This one, not the one with Scooby and Shaggy.
Well, right as a family is going broke, they inherit a spooky haunted mansion from an old relative that they believe to be dead. In this mansion, 13 ghosts will haunt them as a shady lawyer does shady lawyer things involving the children. Pretty creepy, dude. 13 Ghosts. Can I just start gushing now?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not my show.
fucking loved this movie so much. Oh my god. This might be my favorite William Castle movie. I don't know.
Even without Vincent?
Even without Vincent, I thought this movie was tops. I was so in. I did have a THC spiked pina colada while I was watching it. That might have helped the enjoyment. But I seriously, I loved this movie so much. There's a goddamn lion ghost in this movie.
It's amazing.
There's a lion ghost. So I went to rent this on I'm gonna call it Vudu. It's not Fandango at home ever. I went to rent this on Vudu, and the thumbnail was the lion ghost and the headless lion tamer ghost, and I was like, what?
It's so cool. You have to see some of the ads and the promo material and stuff like that for this movie at the time. It is so cool. I also love the moment where the ghost is looking for his head in the lion's mouth. We get the ghost lion, and then the headless ghost who's like, it's my head in there. Like, after all this time, you still got it.
Oh my god, yes. I love it. I was not expecting it at all. And so that definitely also spiked the enjoyment. But overall, I just thought this movie was hilarious. Like, it was so much fun. it genuinely creeped me out at times. Like I was like, this is actually getting under my skin in a few different areas. I just really hate lawyers, you guys. But
I mean, yeah, I'm with you.
But yeah, no, I don't know. The intro to this one got me. The paint splatters going into like the sketches of the like 13 ghosts appear. Like, I don't know. This movie worked for me. I went into it really blind. I had never seen a single thing from it. Like I said, I thought Vincent Price was in this movie.
I did too.
And even in that disappointment of like, oh, Vincent Price isn't in this, I still found so much to love here. It was great. It was great.
In my opinion, it's hard to compete with The Tingler. Because, I just put The Tingler so high. But I think this introduction definitely rivals The Tingler, and just specifically talking about William Castle's like introduction itself, not just it's gorgeous. Like the paint splatter, and then I love that it takes the time to like do that, like that sound, and it rings through each of the ghosts. Like we have number 1 and number 2, and it's all these freaky looking different faces, and then they get to 13 and it's question mark, like who's 13? Like it was so fun. It was such a great introduction.
Yeah, the only thing I knew about this movie was the remake, because I had seen kind of grew up on the remake in many ways.
Yeah.
So knew the basic setup, which the movie, I think the basic setup for both movies is pretty similar. Both inherit a house that has ghosts in it. And you get cool little goggle things. Yeah. No Matthew Lillard in this one. But yeah, this one, it's a ton of fun. Like, I was just having fun watching this one, and I was just sitting there like, man, I wish I was like 8 years old watching this movie, because this would have been like my favorite movie if I discovered it around the same time I was like really obsessed with Scooby-Doo as a kid.
Yeah.
I would have been like, oh, this would have been incredible to watch with the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo. Like, it has that vibe of a Scooby-Doo cartoon. It's just so much fun, so goofy. My favorite ghost in this, though, is not the lion ghost or the lion tamer. It's the chef with the gigantic mustache.
It's amazing.
He is my favorite by far. It's so funny. It's a ridiculous, like, it's going a good 8 inches off of both of his cheeks there. Yeah. It's incredible.
He's got some, like, ghostly volumizing shampoo.
Oh, yeah. 100%. Okay, maybe I don't know how much Muppets y'all are into. I'm a huge Muppet head, but like all I could think of with that ghost was the Swedish Chef.
Yes,
and I'm like, is the Swedish Chef?
I'm gonna see that every time now.
He's got to be inspired by the ghost from 13 Ghosts, right? Like Jim Henson saw that movie.
It's like, look at this horror movie,
and was like, "That's creepy. I'm gonna make a puppet out of that."
And share it with children.
Yeah. Because, all I could think of was the Swedish Chef.
That's amazing.
He kind of sounds like the Swedish Chef, too.
Yeah. And he's got one of the best scenes. I love when he tears up the kitchen. It's like,
it's amazing.
My favorite.
He's just like, and it's so funny because she's just like I love that I'm forgetting the wife's name. Okay, so you got it for me?
Hilda.
Yeah. Hilda is fantastic, by the way. I love Hilda's character. She's hilarious. In the beginning of the movie, where all their furniture is getting repossessed, this woman is so calm. She calls her husband, but she is still just like, well, and then her son walks in and it's like, man, why do they always take our furniture? Like, everybody is so chill. Like, like you're losing everything right now. But
this is not the first time that has happened to that family. That is for sure.
Yeah. I think, yeah. And then he's like, well, how much money we have in the bank? And I think he says like $2, $8, something like that.
Yeah, she says $2. And I'm like,
he's just like,
I'm like, been there. I get it. So
and I think that was interesting because he's like a lecturer, like out of, I would kind of think he would be doing all right. And honestly, I liked that between, we were talking about House on Haunted Hill and then 13 Ghosts. And both people are stuck in this haunted place eventually because of like finances, like looking for some sort of financial security. And there's something so Agatha Christie kind of about that to me that I really like.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a moment where the kid finds like $200.
Yeah, Buck.
Yeah, Buck, and he just goes like, he says something along the lines of like, $200. That's a lot of money. And
yeah, like he thinks he's found the fortune.
I'm sitting there going like, yeah, no, I would kill to just find $200.
Yeah, electricity right there. Covered.
Like, it's crazy how like it's like the It's a Wonderful Life meme where it's like, do you know how hard or how long it takes a man to save up $5,000? Yeah. And everybody's like, that hasn't changed in like the almost century since that movie came out.
Yeah.
I love though by the end of this movie, because you talk about Haley, you talked about people being stuck in these haunted places.
Yeah.
By the end of this movie, though, the family's like, no, we're not leaving this place.
Yeah, we like it here.
We have all the money in the world, but like we like it here, and we like these ghosts. It feels so wholesome.
Yeah.
Versus like other movies, it'd be like, we gotta come running out of the house by the end of the movie.
Yeah, they're just like, we'll coexist. And that's literally like the joke people make about Amityville. Like, for $80,000, this size of a house, like, we're gonna coexist. We're gonna make it work. Like, you keep it down, and we'll just respect each other.
I know. I'm like, there's a modern haunting update to be had where it's just like, you can't move because of the like, there's a really poignant social commentary that someone could make like a horror comedy about that, because that is the crux of like every good haunting movie is, we don't have money, so we are in this haunted place.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but we've never made a movie where that's just the point.
Yeah. That's so true. Yeah.
Yeah. With like the family just gets annoyed by the ghost, but they're like, well, we can't leave. It's not like scared of the ghost. They're just annoyed by it.
It's like, there's like a Simpsons episode about, you guys know what I'm talking about? And then he like calls the realtor and he's like, you told me 85 times? 1,000 times? And Marge is like, what?
Yes, 100%. Oh my god.
Sam, we're too late. Simpsons did it.
Yeah.
Dang it.
Simpsons always does it.
And then the house just, I think it's Marge or Lisa who's like, well, we're not leaving, so we've got to figure out how to work this out. And the house is like, can I have a moment to think? And they're like, sure. And they go outside, and the house just destroys itself. Like,
yep.
It decides it would rather die.
I remember that
Simpsons.
one. It's one of the Treehouse of Horror shorts, isn't it? Yeah.
At least it's like, you can't help but feel a little rejected.
It's so funny, yes. Oh my god.
Is it like their Amityville riff?
It might be, yeah.
It almost feels a little poltergeisty too at times.
Or Poltergeist?
Yeah,
one of those.
because I'm pretty sure Homer like tears his face off at one point in the episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. There's one too where Maggie strangles Vincent Price with the phone cord. Have you guys seen that?
I remember that one too.
And I hadn't seen that until like recently. Like I rewatched them all, and I was just like, it's Vincent Price, and I was like, no, like what is happening?
Yeah. It's my favorite thing on Disney Plus during Halloween time is you can just like, there's just the playlist of Treehouse of Horrors, and I'll just do that sometimes. I'll just pop on a random one and just play through them.
I need to catch up. Just while we're talking about Vincent Price makes a little, I might have told you guys on the last episode. I don't think so. Vincent Price makes a little baby cameo in Bob's Burgers too. Do you guys watch Bob's Burgers?
I love Bob's.
Okay.
Which one?
It's the drive-in episode. I think it's like season 15, and they go to see The Fly. And so you literally see, like, it's someone trying to do Vincent Price. It's obviously not Vincent Price, but you see him on screen, and it's so, like, it's like Hannah Montana. It's the best of both worlds. You get to see Vincent Price, like, in Bob's Burgers, like, styled animation. And I just, like, have to pause it and just, like, it's so perfect. I love that they picked The Fly because it's such a great drive-in movie. Like, and that episode came out, like, when I was still going through the second draft of the film you were about to see. So it just, like, it kind of felt like a validation. Like, Bob's Burgers would have picked the Vincent Price movie, too.
Oh, that's amazing. Casey just started going through Bob's Burgers.
No.
After years of me hounding him.
I tried to go through Bob's Burgers many times, and I was like, I don't get it. I don't like this. And then all of a sudden, within the last, 2-3 months, I had that like
just clicked.
It's Always Sunny moment of, oh, I get it.
You have to get past that first season because it's a little rougher.
They were trying to be writing. Family Guy, like Simpsons, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Once you get, like, season 3 is where Bob's really hits its stride. Like, I love season 3.
Agreed.
Speaking of flies, though, I had the biggest laugh out loud moment of this movie, seeing the fly buzzing around, and you can clearly like see the string that it's hanging.
What do you mean? There's a string? They don't move like that?
It was so funny. Oh my god!
I love the strings in William Castle movies.
I do too.
It's amazing. Yeah. So we brought up the fly. Casey, was your tidbit about the fly? No, chance?
It was not about my tidbits about the promotion of the tidbits.
movie. Oh, I have 2 tidbits. Okay, so my Sam, was your tidbit about the fly?
No, I get 2 tidbits.
Oh, okay.
I don't have one.
You don't have one to contribute.
I'm
sorry.
woefully ill prepared.
Sam has 0 tidbits.
I'm sorry, I made you announce that. So Buck, the kid in 13 Ghosts, Buck is also the young boy from The Fly. So I rewatched 13 Ghosts and thought, why is this kid so familiar? And my boyfriend looked it up and he's like, he's in all these random movies that looked like he had a pretty, his career died pretty early. Because poor guy, he had struggled with addiction pretty intensely young on. But yeah, he was in The Fly. And I think I'm pretty sure he might have even been in a Hitchcock Presents episode, which is pretty cool.
Oh,
but yes,
damn.
It is the same kid from The Fly, and I just thought that was amazing.
That's awesome.
That's crazy. Sam, do you know where your ghost lion is from?
Where?
It's from the Addams Family.
Oh, that makes sense. Yep.
Not too many lion actors apparently out there in 1960.
It's hard out there for a lion.
Just read that today. I think my boyfriend found it actually because we were going through it because he just saw the movie for the first time. He watched it with me and he thought it was so much fun too. Okay, Casey, I have to know. What's your other tidbit? Can we go there?
So yeah, my tidbit on the promotion of this was when William Castle was going around promoting 13 Ghosts. He had people dressed up like the ghosts from the movie, and they went to the Republican National Convention and quote-unquote haunted Richard Nixon, saying, Nixon, Nixon, like in ghost voices.
Oh my god.
The poor guy already feels like haunted by John Lennon's presence. I said poor guy. No, you know what I mean? And then he's got the horror director coming after him.
Literally showed up in costumes, haunting Richard Nixon.
All right, we have to revive this. Somebody do this ASAP. We need it.
100%. We need it.
I didn't know that. That is such a cool tidbit.
It was just a random thing I came across today while I was looking up stuff on this movie. I'm like, that's hilarious.
Did we notice?
Lion onesie, headless tamer, or hitting the RNC this year.
You guys just won the costume contest.
I'm down.
I'll carry a little fly. What a string. Yeah.
I'm
part of it. Be such a specific costume. Like we would be beaming, like so proud of it. People would be like, what are they doing? It's amazing. Okay. Did we notice a pretty big actress in this movie? Okay, Casey, Sam, okay.
Great stunt casting. The minute she popped up on screen, I'm like, no fucking way.
But I was talking to my grandfather, and he is so amazing to talk to these movies about with, because he was a teen during this time. So, like, he remembers going to see House on Haunted Hill. He saw The Fly and The Fly Returns at the drive-in. And he said that so many people didn't know who Margaret Hamilton was then. And so what is so crazy about this is, I don't know if you guys know, but when Wizard of Oz came out, it wasn't an immediate success. It was one of those movies that kind of became a big deal over time. So it did okay, but nowhere near where they hoped it would be. And so it didn't start airing on TV until like 57, 58. And so it would take about like 6-7 years of it being on television before it became huge, before it really became known. So 13 Ghosts would have already come out by then. And so my grandpa didn't see it and think that's Margaret Hamilton, but his parents did. And so he compared it to like how 80s kids would have seen Edward Scissorhands and had no idea that that was Vincent Price unless they watched all the Elvira specials. Like, and so that was so cool to me, because that happened to me too. A Vincent Price fan watched Edward Scissorhands 6-7 times, and then like years later watched it again and was like, that's Vincent Price. Like, how did I miss that? Like, I missed it growing up, but it's a perfect example. Like, yeah, those 80s kids, you know, right at 1990, they might not have really known Vincent Price. You're surprised how many people don't even know him from Thriller. You have to say he's the voice laughing in Thriller. They're like, oh, okay, but they don't know why Michael Jackson picked him.
Yeah.
Because he loved House on Haunted Hill. Didn't I tell you guys on the last episode that Elvira was originally supposed to do that? Like, they had her set up to do it, and then last minute they picked Vincent Price, and Elvira's like, well, that's a good person to lose a gig to. It's in her memoir. Like, she didn't talk about it because she thought it was kind of like, you know, like stepping on his moment or whatever, but they literally asked her to do it. She had like a different monologue kind of prepared, and it was pretty cool. And I honestly, we need to start a petition to hear the whole thing, you know, but she doesn't do it.
I did not know that. Yeah, that's
it was
crazy.
Supposed to be her.
It also feels like Vincent Price would be the only person she wouldn't give sass to for taking a job from her.
I mean, she said she was butthurt because, I mean, Michael Jackson, you know, saw that's a pretty big deal.
Person in the world, yeah.
And she understood that. Vincent Price did not, because they either said that he could take $100,000 for the role or that he could collect royalties. Elvira chose royalties. Vincent Price took the $100,000. Sorry, I think I got us a little. I mean, no, we're still on Vincent Price. We're fine. Sorry, but I took us down a different rabbit hole. Sorry about that.
No, you were.
That's amazing.
We were talking about Margaret Hamilton, and yes, like Sam, you said stunt casting. It's not real. Yeah. Like, this might be like the first Wizard of Oz stunt casting, really.
Yeah.
Like, because it wasn't a big thing until, like, I remember Margaret Hamilton shows up a bunch, like, in different versions of being the Wicked Witch and stuff. Yeah. Really, like, in the 70s and 80s. Like, I think she does Sesame Street.
Yeah.
In like the early 80s, maybe late 70s, something like that. Like in full Wicked Witch regalia. So like, this is like, you really have to know Wizard of Oz in 1960 if you're going to understand a ton of the jokes that they're throwing out about her being a quote-unquote witch.
Like at the end, when she has the witch or the broom and she winks. And I think I love this so much because since she wouldn't have been super well known then, it's kind of like Castle just did it for himself, and that's really his style. Like, if he's not having fun with it, like, then, you know, he's not doing it. And so I think that was kind of Tim Burton's thing too. Like, people might not know this is Vincent Price, but he knows it's Vincent Price. You know, he knows, like, and I just think that's such a cool, like, the filmmakers put in their own little, like, seeds of where they came from. Like, in The Black Phone, the kids are watching The Tingler. And, like, the director talks about how, like, nobody knew that film when he was like, I'm going to put in this scene from The Tingler. And they're like, what is that?
Sam, I want to jump to something we're going to be talking about more in depth at some point, is the Ouija scene in this, specifically the planchette, like, floating.
Yes.
I mean, this is pretty.
It actually kind of scared me. I won't lie.
It kind of scared. I was not scared by anything in this movie. You were scared by the planchette flying?
It creeped me out a little bit. Yeah. I don't go with Ouija boards, man. I just don't.
And you have to think that kind of imagery wasn't big in horror films yet. So I kind of felt that there was some sort of pioneering imagery in this movie. You know, like, the script itself is pretty simple. It's a pretty standard ghost story, right? You know, like, you move into a haunted place and that kind of thing. You know, there's a treasure there. So that's all pretty straightforward. But I did find that I'll have to keep thinking on what they were. But there are multiple moments where I was like, that probably would have been a big deal at the time. And even when they explain like what, the we and the ja, like yes in German or yes in French, yes in German, like that kind of, like I didn't know that. So like there are some just really cool little classic horror imagery and stuff like that we see now that I think, I hadn't seen in a lot of older movies like that until 13 Ghosts.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's so brilliant the way it sets up the board as like, essentially it's just like, yeah, it's just a game, but then it goes serious. It gets creepy. Like, I don't know. I really liked seeing the Ouija, like, as it was originally intended, because that's what it was. Like, it was a family game when it started. And then it turns it into something different. I also, like, we've been talking about this for a little bit, and we haven't really talked about Buck yet.
Yeah.
We got to talk about Buck.
He's a good character.
He is a 40-year-old man trapped in a little boy's body.
With
the
eyeliner.
Way he moves. Yes, with eyeliner. Like, the
I
way
love
he
the eyeliner.
moves. So old. Like, I can't describe it. But the minute he walks onto screen with his little, like, tucked in shirt, and he's kind of, like, leading with his hips. I don't know, but, like, he just looks
very
like
self-assured.
Yeah. And I don't know. I love this kid. I was like, no, Buck is my favorite. I would die for this kid.
I would die for this kid.
In his little, like, old man pants. I don't know.
They should have gave over the family's finances to Buck, not to Cyrus, because he is not good with money. That is for sure.
That's apparent. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's talking about a third mortgage. I'm like, dude, maybe you're just bad with money because you have a job.
Yeah. It seems like a job that would pay decently in that time, Yeah.
Yes. 100%. I'm like, what is causing this man to go broke?
Yeah.
He's got to have, like, a gambling addiction. Maybe he's got a couple of second families. I don't know. Like,
nah, he does not seem smart enough to have.
I was going to say that's a little
families.
Sophisticated. It's a little sophisticated for him.
100% has a gambling addiction.
But Sam, you are right, and Casey, I'm so glad you brought it up because there is something creepy about the Ouija board. Like, even in a film that's so funny, so fun, there is something that's just kind of like off-putting about it. And I think I really loved that it, especially when it pointed at Medea as, like, it said someone had to die, and then it points to Medea, and she's like, don't ask it when, I don't want to know.
Yeah.
But I love that.
That's chilling.
Yeah. And I, like, at first I kind of giggled at, like, the snappiness of her line, but then I was like, that's kind of like, indifferent, like, being indifferent to fear. Like, she was afraid, and I think that is so awesome that they capture that, because we talk about how Ouija boards were originally a game, but think of how many times it probably got to something like that. Even if it's just people's nerves around there, it probably always got to a point where they're like, okay, we got to stop. Like, we're walking away, and I think that was pretty on point.
Yeah.
I want to jump to, because this is about in the movie where we get to the gimmick of it, the illusion-o, which is super cool. I saw pictures of what the like looking, I don't know what you would even call it, what the gimmick is, and it's almost like two different 3D glasses, but one has red on the top that you can see just through the red, and then blue on the bottom. Red, you can see the ghosts. So if you want to be brave enough, you can look through the red part when the characters put their glasses on to look through the red part and see the ghosts, or you can look through the blue part so you don't have to see any ghosts. What a fun little gimmick that I have not seen in, like, any other movie. Obviously 3D is still a thing nowadays with the technology is pretty much the same. It's, you see the one side in red, one side blue, but this one it's like, oh, you have the option if you're brave enough.
Yeah. And I think that's something that's fun about William Castle movies, is he's always kind of teasing you, like, are you brave enough to handle this? Like, can you really handle it? And, sorry, that was like a 2000s song lyric, and my brain just almost went in a different direction. So it's called Illusiono, which is fantastic. The little glasses are just called the Viewer, which I think is kind of disappointing, like, for William Castle, you know, the Viewer, like, come on. But he thought of everything else, right? Like, sorry, I just think it.
No, what would you call the glass? Like, I don't know.
Did they call it something else in the movie? I'm looking through my notes if I wrote it down or not. So
in the movie, I think they just call because the Dr. Zorba, which fantastic name, by the way, Zorba. Yeah, like the characters in this movie have fantastic names, Zorba. So I just thought they said that he made glasses that you could see the supernatural or something like that, and I don't know that they actually gave it like an official name. I think it could have been something pretty playful, but I was looking it up today, and people like scour the internet, like eBay and stuff, trying to find the original Viewer, like trying to find some. And they released like a box set of William Castle movies in like 2002, and apparently that 13 Ghosts like came with all 4 versions and a Viewer, so you could like just see it strictly in black and white, or you could see it with the Viewer, like all these different ways. And I think that would have been so cool in theater. Been awesome. And I love the introduction where William Castle explains what the gimmick is. Like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah, I love everything to do with the glasses, them exploring and like finding all these ghosts. They're just, you know, I think the one in the kitchen's probably like my favorite scene of them like interacting with the ghosts.
Just a menace.
Like he's just
all the things floating is amazing.
Yeah, and I forgot her name already. What's the wife's name? Is it Hilda?
Hilda
has just had it. Hilda has had it with this ghost. Like, that is hilarious. And then Buck comes in. He's done now. He's done.
Yeah. And the meat cleaver to the wall. It's just like, if that was just a few more inches, you wouldn't have a head.
Yeah.
And I'm like...
It reminds me of when is it a knife that just goes like flying from the guy's hand? It's a hatchet in the Tingler. Remember when the guy's scaring his wife and he's got like the mask on? He like has a hatchet and there's like a hairy arm and it just comes flying out of his hand and like spins right beside her and she's like, it's amazing.
Oh yeah.
There's one floating string effect in here that I'm kind of fascinated by because I can understand like the fly. What else did we have? We had the flower, a milk jug. There's one where they have a candle floating.
Oh, yes. I forgot about that.
I think is a little cooler because it's like, oh, you can't just tie a string like right on top of a candle. Like, it'll melt your string. Like,
yeah.
I'd be curious to see the behind the scenes of... Because it stays straight up and down.
I was going to say...
The flame stays going, too.
Casey, you're so right because it's also like... What am I trying to say? It's pretty solid. Like, it's not as like flimsy as some of the other things. Like, it's pretty.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
But
I don't even know, Sam. You were pointing with 2 arms up. I don't know if that would.
I don't know if there was like a slip knot at the middle of it where you could. I don't know.
And then you have two ends, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
See,
but that still feels like it'd be more wobbly than what the effect is.
Yeah.
I love this.
And it's not like they took it out, like took like someone holding the candle out of the image like they do like Invisible Man from like the 30s, but like I don't know, it's definitely on a string like the other effects.
Yeah. Can we talk about the suffocating bed?
I love the suffocating bed. Chekhov's suffocating bed. Hell yeah.
You know he was proud of that. Like, I'm gonna kill somebody like nobody has ever killed somebody before.
The first, it was so funny. I was watching this with Maria, and the first time you see it, like, and the dial turns, and the whatever you call the canopy on the bed just like comes down. She's just like, we're just quietly watching, and all of a sudden I hear her go, "Now why would a bed need to do that?"
I'm kind of thinking it too, like, who installed this feature?
Right. It's so funny because it's such an odd thing to have a bed do, and then you find out that it's used to kill people.
Yeah, see, that's when we would have Vincent Price walk out. You know, he's carrying like all his tools and pulleys, like, haha, I installed it.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm gonna jump into that then, because that's my like maybe my only qualm with 13 Ghosts
Vincent Price.
there is no Vincent Price.
I agree.
But where do you put Vincent Price? What character? Like, it's already in the movie. They have to already be here. You just have to recast him with Vincent Price. Who is getting recast in this?
You cast him as the pervert, Ben.
I thought Sam was gonna say he's the guy who loses his head. We just see Vincent lose his head to the lion.
Yeah.
Like how like a psycho would that be? Like, hey, we bring Vincent Price and we kill him in the first 15 minutes. He loses his head to a lion.
Or, since Buck's already a 40-year-old man trapped in it, we could just have Vincent Price as Buck.
It plays the little kid with a mustache.
Yeah, that's
with
amazing.
a mustache. Yeah. Yeah, no, I love thinking about where Price would fit in to this, but I'm not gonna lie, like, once I got into the vibe of this movie, this is gonna be sacrilege, but I didn't miss it. Like, I didn't miss him once I was in the movie, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, I was, like, would this movie have been better if he was in here hamming it up? Probably. But, like, while I was watching it, I didn't need it.
I think Casey did a little bit.
I just needed a little Vincent Price in this, even if he was like one of the ghosts. But also, like, in the remake of 13 Ghosts, you have F. Murray Abraham is the guy who owns the house, and it's revealed at the end, oh, he's still alive, actually.
Yeah.
Like, if this movie had that same twist, you have Vincent Price play Dr. Zorbo.
I
sure.
thought yes, but I definitely think that would require some reshooting, because I think we would have to see Vincent Price as Zorba, the scientist collecting these ghosts, that kind of thing. So I do think I agree. I do think that would be a perfect spot for him, but I do think that would require. But this movie, it's amazing, but it does end a little abruptly. So I think if we added in a little bit more Vincent Price with the 13 Ghosts, we might have had a little bit more characterization of the 13 Ghosts. See, we just figured it out. Vincent Price would have solved it all. I think he could have made a really great, I know his last name is Zorba too, but the man who comes to inherit the house, well, I can't think of his first name.
Yeah.
The dad?
Yes.
Dad. He would have been great there.
Cyrus. Yeah. And so he would have been cast differently, would have been played differently, like, entirely, but I do think Vincent could have brought, like, something to that role, because other than Margaret Hamilton, this was really like a starting out cast. Like, these weren't, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe that these were very well known actors. I think the probably biggest payout was Margaret Hamilton, which, hell yeah, the woman makes the most on the set for once. But
top billed actor in this movie is Buck.
Oh, I mean, that makes sense.
It's because he's the star. Okay.
No. He was like a big star on, I believe, TV before.
Yeah, he was in a lot at that time. And people forget, like, how big his career was, because, like I said, it was pretty short-lived.
And Castle wanted him, and one of the conditions of it was he was to be top billed in the movie.
I didn't know that.
This little 10-year-old, 40-year-old.
This kid, when he gets in with Ben, and Ben is doing his creepy, like, you can't tell anyone, it's our secret.
So predatory.
Ew. And I'm like, also, like, you're with the daughter too. It's just, the whole thing gives me the ick. I'm like, no, this guy is a fucking pervert. He's a groomer. He's a groomer. I'm just gonna say it.
Yeah.
And like. But my favorite...
He's probably who William Castle was trying to scare off at the Republican National Convention.
Yeah. My favorite Buck line in this whole movie is when Ben leaves after he's shown them the cash, and he's like, oh, we got to keep it a secret. Don't tell anyone I was here. And he walks out the door, and, like, Buck has just closed the door, and Medea comes down, and she goes, who was that? And he just goes, nobody. And besides, it's a secret.
And he goes on to tell a lot of people that he has a secret. And he, like, wants to know, like, the rules of keeping a secret and everything.
Well, who do you have a secret with? With Ben. What's it about? Well, I can't tell you exactly, but...
Okay, I have to say, you just pulled something from my head. So, was it you, Sam, who said that you could see Vincent Price maybe as Ben?
Yes.
Okay, so... I was like, but the more you just talked about it there, I kind of see it. Also, The moment where Ben goes to scare Medea, doesn't he like kind of pretend like to be Zorba's ghost or something, and he's got the cobweb on his feet? I love that, by the way. That was very House on Haunted Hill. And see, that felt very Tingler, but the shoes felt very House on Haunted Hill, so I really loved that moment. And imagine those feet were Vincent Price. Like, I could totally see that.
Yeah. Also, Buck at the end wants to keep the mask, and I'm like, you want to keep the mask of the guy who almost killed your family for money?
Yeah.
Like, and the family's just like, oh, sure, son. I'm like, no, that mask is going in the garbage.
Listen,
like,
Sam, they're a weird family. We've established that they're not good with money.
No.
They're gonna stay in the ghost house.
They're a little too chill about some things.
Yeah, they don't have a care in the world.
Maybe that's the way to be,
Also, one thing, did you guys notice that Dr. Zorba's ghost clearly got Ozempic?
It's clearly a different person than in the
You're
painting.
so
like,
right.
I mean,
and Medea's like, he's a good-looking man. When she looks at the picture, and I'm kind of like, really?
I'm like, he's a good-looking ghost, but that portrait's doing him no favors.
He looks a little rough.
He's got more hair. Yeah. He's got, he's got the toned bod.
He kind of looks like his politics would be pretty icky. Like,
yes,
he totally 100%. Has that vibe.
Oh my god, yeah.
Was there ever a point where they made you think that Margaret Hamilton's character, they call her the housekeeper, but I almost feel like she's more of a caretaker in how much she handles, and she assisted Zorba in some of his experiments. Did you for a moment think that she might have been kind of in on it? I almost feel like they wanted us to kind of think that because, she was like, oh, I would never go in this room again, and Zorba's bedroom ends up being, like a pretty big deal where we have the suffocating bed and all these things, and so for a minute I was like, oh, okay, there's Margaret Hamilton. Kind of just thought she had like a brief little cameo. Like, I didn't remember how much she's actually in this. And a little off topic, but it just came to the front of my head. That woman is only 5 feet tall. I feel like that's pretty surprising because
she's imposing.
She, very much like Vincent Price, commands this, she has that stage presence. Like, you go to her, you put her next to a giant man, like, you're still looking at her, like, and she's bold and she's kind of deadpan at times, and I honestly think she was a standout, like, in this film. I think she was fantastic.
Oh yeah.
I
definitely thought she was in on it.
Yeah. I'm like, which ghost? It's her. Which ghost?
Yeah, she's
I think in another version of this movie, that's the twist at the end.
Yeah.
Is that she's in on it with Ben, maybe.
Well, and don't you expect that of William Castle? Like, it's the woman. Like, Hilda's pretty chill. We don't think it's Hilda. Like, Hilda stepped into this too. But, so as soon as they introduced her, and like, you kind of want to believe Buck when he calls her, like, a witch and then calls her a ghost. And it's like, for a minute, they convinced me that they're just seeing a ghost. And she's just like, yep, I've been the caretaker. I've always been the caretaker. That kind of thing. Like the Shining kind of thing. Like, she's the ghost and they're just accepting it. And so when it really came out, like, kind of what her role was, that was surprising. Also, the seance scene. That's another thing that I don't feel like was happening in a lot of these oldies movies. So, like, I really, even though there are some similarities between House on Haunted Hill and 13 Ghosts, I really feel like there is a thick, like, heavy line between 1950s horror and 1960s horror. And I really think, like, you see kind of the twist with the 13 Ghosts, really with Psycho. Because other than, like, the bad seed, we didn't really have, like, the psycho killer aspect. Some of these things, like the seances, like, we might have mentioned them, but I feel like that was the extent of the 50s movies. Like, they would literally be like, oh, and we did a seance, and, like, we never saw it, so the fact that we actually saw them all sitting around, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I think that this is, like, you watch this movie and it's weird that it's not one of the more popular William Castle movies, because
Agreed.
I watch it and I'm like, this is more influential than I feel like even House on Haunted Hill is. Like, they're two very different movies, obviously, but I'm like, so much of our, like, haunted house kind of stuff came from 13 Ghosts.
Like the lore.
Like.
Yeah.
I think this similarly has a lot of similarities with, like, something like The Fly of like everyone talks
Yes.
about the Cronenberg version. No one really talks about the Price version anymore. I think the same thing with 13 Ghosts, and I think I blame Facebook and Facebook faking all these 13 Ghosts series coming to Netflix for like the past 10 years that we've gotten those.
It's the same with House.
I was just going to say, like, I think everybody talks about the remake of 13 Ghosts that we kind of just forget about this version. I have very similar thoughts about both of these movies. I feel very similarly about both of them on, like, how dated those two movies are, but in the best ways possible. Like, the remake of 13 Ghosts is very early 2000s.
Yeah.
But that's the charm of it.
Yeah.
Same with 13, the original 13 Ghosts from William Castle. Very late 50s, early 60s.
Yeah.
But again, that's the charm of the movie. So I think if people go with that in mind of like, oh, this is very much of the time, but if you want to be literally transported into that time period, this is a great example of that.
Yeah, and it's the same with I think House of Wax. Like 1953 House of Wax, so many people just know the other version. And I
for sure. And it's more of a tourist trap remake anyways.
Yeah,
like, it's so weird.
There's like it's frustrating. I mean, at least like 13 Ghosts and The Fly and stuff, you can clearly see the connection between the two movies. This House of Wax is like what happened. Like,
I was shocked because I saw the 2004 one before I watched the 1953 one. Like,
I didn't.
I grew up watching like the 2004 one because it came out when I was like 11.
Yeah.
You know? And then I watched the original one from 53 and I was just like, these movies are not even the same.
Not
like,
at all.
This is insane. And then I watched Tourist Trap like a year ago and I'm like, this is what House of Wax is remaking. What are we doing here?
Yeah. And what's also interesting, a lot of people don't know that the 1953 House of Wax is also a remake of a 20s film. Yep.
I did not know that. Oh my god. Have to
Also,
go back and
something I brought up like literally an hour ago. William Castle did do a Old Dark House movie in the 60s.
Really?
So
I looked that up and I forgot to bring it up.
He did remake that. And then because I mean there's Old Dark House in both of these movies that we talked about today. That's for sure. So
yes.
Let's get to some final thoughts, maybe of 13 Ghosts, if you guys don't have anything else to bring up about this.
I feel like we knew our background on this movie. We came with the cool little fun facts.
We did. Sam, I'll throw it to you again. What is your final thoughts on 13 Ghosts, and how many ghost lions are you giving this?
I'm going to give this the same amount of ghost lions I gave House on Haunted Hill. I'm going to give this a solid 4 out of 5. I am going to say I think I like 13 Ghosts a little bit more than House on Haunted Hill, though. This movie just worked for me. I laughed for a lot of it. I thought Buck was the characters in this. We didn't talk enough about Medea, who is such a fun character. She brings such a different energy to this movie that I appreciated. Yeah, I don't know. This movie, this cast, the stunt casting of Margaret Hamilton, I was in on this. I'm like, yeah, this movie, I rented it, and it was one of those where about halfway through, I'm like, I should just fucking bought this so I could go back to it anytime. So yeah, it'll probably end up being in the rotation this year. I loved it. I thought it was great. So 13 Ghosts, solid 4 out of 5.
Haley, how about you?
So, first of all, Sam, it makes me so happy to hear how happy that movie makes you. Because, that's why we're here, right? That's why I want to talk about Vincent Price and William Castle. So, just the fact that, you're having so much fun with it is amazing. So, I agree. I think this movie is so much fun. I think there is some, really cool foundational, haunted house lore that we get from this movie. I really love the seance. I really love the use of the Ouija board. Medea's fantastic. Hilda's fantastic. Margaret Hamilton is amazing. I do feel, though, that for me personally, the William Castle experience is partially about his collaboration with Vincent Price. So for that reason, I'm going to give it just 1 minus what I did House on Haunted Hill. So this has 3 Ghost Lions out of 5 for me, but I still love it.
Yeah, I also gave this 3 Ghost Lions out of 5. Apparently, Vincent Price is just 2 full Ghost Lions to get this movie up to a 5 star. For some reason, because I looked back at my letterbox, I gave House on Haunted Hill 3 stars the last time I watched it, and I was like, that was way too low. And I feel like that's going to be the same thing for 13 Ghosts when I revisit this. Of like, why did I give that 3 stars? Like, this is a ton of fun, and it's probably going to go up the more that I watch this movie. But yeah, it's a ton of fun. The cast is incredible and so much fun. And this, of these 2, this I'm sure is the one that people have seen the least between House on Haunted Hill and 13 Ghosts. But highly recommend to everyone out there listening to give it a watch. It's a ton of fun. It's under an hour and a half. Both of these movies are really short, so you can knock both of these out as a double feature in well under 3 hours.
That's a great double feature.
God, it really is. I more movies need to take note of this, that you can tell a great story in 85 minutes or less.
Yeah. And
I'm not even going to say 90, 85 minutes or less.
And I think William Castle is also an example of, when people say every story has been done or every story has been told, well, let it be told by Vincent Price and William Castle. Like let it be told again by, I think that just goes to show that sometimes it's less about what's being told as who's telling it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure. 100% I agree with that.
And that doesn't work for every director. Sometimes we're like, what was that? We got nothing. Where was the plot? William Castle, we're like, hey, it was funny. And
yeah, like as long as you have a filmmaking voice that like genuinely shines through, there's gonna be something to latch onto,
Yeah.
And
I really just sometimes try to imagine what he might have done with something as serious as Rosemary's Baby, and it's kind of fun to think about. It's fun to imagine.
Yeah. I mean, we can. Rosemary's Baby is kind of a can of worms that I don't necessarily want to open right now. But I'm like, I would very much rather have a William Castle Rosemary's Baby than the one
Roman
we got.
Polanski.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Rosemary's Baby is an all-timer horror movie, but yeah, we don't need to talk about the
maybe another day.
The Polanski part of it. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. It's God, sometimes finding out that problematic people make art too just sucks.
It's amazing too how many of the people making like those feminist horror movies of the time were like female abusers themselves. It's like
right.
It's like did you not really pick up on anything other than terrorizing the women? Like
yeah.
What was it all for?
Yeah, and it just that push-pull is so fucking insane when you look at like what Rosemary's Baby is about and then look at it's I don't know, it's crazy. Yeah. Like I said, it's a can of worms,
it really
but
is.
like
sorry, I went there.
No, it's all good. I mean
it was what excuse me, it was in the effort of William Castle. But I do want to say there's this book I read. I'm losing my voice. I just got so excited talking to you guys. There's a book called Scream With Me by Eleanor Johnson, and it's nonfiction. It's one of the best audiobooks I've ever listened to, but it's a fantastic read, and it's literally like documenting the rise of American feminism alongside horror movies that were portraying feminist themes. So Rosemary's Baby's in there. There's definitely some commentary about Hitchcock. What's his name? Frederick. I can never remember his last name. The guy who did The Exorcist, Stanley Kubrick, Roman Polanski. Just some of these pretty problematic men, but it is kind of refreshing. You occasionally hear about some of the men who are really passionate and who really saw an opportunity here. And some of the women were incredible too. Like their stories don't get told enough. So I highly recommend that.
Oh, that cover is awesome too.
It's so good, isn't it?
Yeah, I am totally gonna check that out. I love finding new like nonfiction books on like especially like film in history.
Yes, you have to hit me up because I'd say that's a specialty of mine. I am looking forward to reading William Castle's biography. I'm going to scare the pants off America. Have you guys heard about that?
I have not, no.
Yeah, he kind of talks about how Orson Welles threw him under the bus, which is pretty...
That's amazing.
Speaking of totally awesome real-life filmmakers,
I just
Orson
keep them
Welles.
coming, don't I? Thank God for William Castle.
Thank God for William Castle. Thank God for you being here, because this was so much fun to revisit
awesome.
It was a blast.
William Castle on the podcast with you. This is where we're going to throw it to you. Where can people find you online, Haley? And where can they, if they want even more of this William Castle craziness, where can they find your book, the film you're about to see?
So the film you're about to see is available wherever books are sold. However, I highly recommend you checking out your indie bookstore. I've been pretty surprised. Indie bookstores have been pretty supportive of this release, which has been really cool. It's a 1959 gimmick and drive-in themed horror novella. It's a quick read. It also comes with a full marquee of William Castle, Vincent Price flicks, some other things. And you can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Haley Newlin _author.
Oh yeah. Haley, thanks for coming on and sharing your expertise in William Castle with us. It's always so much fun to talk to you. And I'm not putting any pressure, but next time you have a book out, let us know, because we'll have you back on.
I'll tell you guys, there is another oldies film coming, or oldies horror filmed book coming soon.
Hell yeah. Oh, I'm so excited. I cannot wait to read it.
I'll have to give you guys a mention in the acknowledgments because 13 Ghosts is on the marquee, and it's totally because of this conversation. So that's all I'm going to say. That's all I can say about it. But you guys will receive a little shout out because you might have influenced the marquee.
Oh my God. Well, that's amazing to hear.
That's awesome.
Oh, we love that. All right, everybody. Big thanks to Haley Newlin for joining us and talking those two William Castle features. It's always a blast to talk with her, and she will be back on the podcast again. So keep your ears peeled for that. In the meantime, we're going to continue with the show with our next ad read for Fangoria. Fangoria for over 40 years has been the leading source in horror for all things spooky, horrific, and macabre. The famed magazine is back with a vengeance each quarter with brand new issues of Fangoria magazine, featuring interviews, retrospectives, and insight into the world of horror. We have an exclusive offer for our listeners to save 20% off their subscription to the magazine, the latest Fango merch, and so much more. You can visit shop.fangoria.com/screamsfromthebasement or hit that QR code at the bottom of the screen and use promo code screamsfromthebasement at checkout to get that 20% off. Thanks to Fangoria for helping support the show. And if I may, this subscriber cover for this latest issue with Send Help being the cover story. Never thought in high school that I would be getting a horror magazine with Regina George bloodied up on the cover, but here we are, and I love that it exists.
I'm gonna throw this out there. I don't know
wait.
where my magazine is. I have not gotten it yet.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
dude. It is one of my favorite Fango covers. I might have to go buy a newsstand cover just so I can frame this one.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to look out and see where this one's at.
This isn't part of the ad read, but Fango customer support is really fucking good about helping people with that kind of stuff. So
I'll have to look
yeah.
and make sure everything's good to go.
Yeah. They'll hook you up. They're great. So Casey.
Yeah.
What have you been doing aside from watching some William Castle?
Besides that, I've been watching a couple movies. I believe this one is on the newsstand cover of Fangoria. It is the brand new movie Primate, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. I caught this in theaters. We talked about this on our Patreon bonus episode as we were kind of tier ranking some of our most anticipated movies of the year. This is from director Johannes Roberts, who did Resident Evil, Welcome to Raccoon City. He also did my favorite Strangers movie, Strangers Prey at Night. And this one's about a group of friends who are at this Hawaiian tropical beachfront house that have a pet monkey, and the pet monkey becomes rabid and starts killing off the teenagers one by one. Yeah, this movie, I didn't love it. I liked it. I wish it felt a little better than most, like, quote unquote January horror movies, but also felt pretty safe in being a January horror movie. It's kind of stupid characters do stupid decisions movie, which sucks for such a cool premise of literally this is a primate and ape slasher movie. I will say, though, Johannes Roberts knows how to shoot the hell out of pool sequences. If you've seen Strangers Prey at Night, that dude just knows how to shoot around a pool. This almost half of this movie is in a pool, so he knows how to shoot around that. And also, the score for this movie, the score for Primate, is incredible. It was my favorite part of this movie by far. It's so good. If they ever release like a vinyl soundtrack of Primate, totally would pick that up. It's a bitchin' score.
Yeah, I'm only getting more and more excited for this. Everybody knows I love animal attack movies. I'm pumped to check this one out and probably rate it a whole star higher than Casey, because that's how we tend to go on these ones.
Yeah, I gave it like a 3.5, something like that.
Yeah,
like a good start to the new year, but not a like home run out of the park.
I'm aching for a home run out of the park, which I'm really hoping that Bone Temple will be coming out this weekend.
That's all I've heard is it's a home run. Going through some of the other stuff I watched here, I think I only have one other thing that's not a crossover between us.
Okay.
I watched this movie called Night of the Dead Sorority Babes, which just came out last year. I watched it because one of our guests to the Screams by Night Halfway to Halloween Con is in this movie, Kelsey Livengood. She is one of the sorority sisters in this movie, and it's about these sorority girls that end up in this sorority house kind of out in the middle of nowhere and begin to get killed off by like this like crazy old sorority, what are those called? Like house mothers, I guess, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah. House mothers? Yeah.
Who kind of like end up sacrificing these girls. It's got a ton of fun modern B-movie actresses in this. Like if you've seen like some of these like almost zero budget modern slashers, modern horror B flicks, you'll recognize some of the names in here. Like Jessa Flux is in it. She was in AJ's movie Babezilla 2. Lynn Lowry's in this. Like I said, guest to the convention, Kelsey Livengood's in this. The girls are having a ton of fun in this movie, very clearly. It is an all-female cast. I don't think there's a single male in this movie at all, which is super cool.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's a zero-budget, ton of fun horror movie where everyone's kind of, you can tell, having a blast and doing multiple things on set, because one of the actresses is also the director, and I know some of the cast members did some of the special effects too, so it's just like everybody pitching in where they can type of movie, and it kind of shows on screen too. So yeah, check that out if you wanna check it out before Screams by Night. Next up, we have a new movie that we both watched called Don't Trip. This is apparently part of our Don't triple feature that we had. Well, Joe Bob did a double feature. We made it a triple feature, apparently. Yeah, this is a brand new thriller that just came out in 2025 on Tubi. It's about this nepo baby of a Hollywood producer who's just really super eccentric that befriends this wannabe screenwriter, and the two become friends because the screenwriter wants to get in front of the producer dad, and the nepo baby just wants to be a weirdo nepo baby who needs a friend. And then things unravel from there. Yeah, it's a really fun movie. Go check it out. We do have an interview up on the channel now for Don't Trip with director Alex Kugelman. A a truncated version. There were some technical difficulties, but we got a fun little interview out of it still with that. But yeah, definitely check that out.
Yeah.
And then made it over to Joe Bob's The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs on Shudder for his Don't double feature, which featured Don't Torture a Duckling from Lucio Fulci, and then Don't Go in the Woods ... Alone, which is a terribly fun little slasher movie from 1981.
Yeah, it's from 1981. Both of these movies I had a blast with. One of them I liked a lot more than the other, but
yeah, one of these is genuinely great. The other one is so
good
bad
because it's bad. Yeah,
yes.
Exactly. Don't torture a duckling is terrible.
Yeah, it was awful. Zero ducklings were tortured in that movie. It's a lie. It was it's probably the biggest Fulci that I had not seen yet. Because I had, of course, seen The Gates of Hell, Zombie, New York Ripper. Don't Torture a Duckling was kind of the big one I had not seen yet. Dude, this guy just knew how to make movies, Fulci. Incredible.
Good.
There's a sequence halfway through it where this woman gets killed to this just incredible score, and it's just her screaming and running while being tortured, and this banging synth score is playing. It's awesome.
It's an innocent woman being basically killed by an angry mob, and it is one of the
it's haunting,
so
but also just I don't know, just super artistic, and it's
the fucking
incredible.
Finale up in the mountains is amazing. It's got one of the best dummy drops I've ever seen in a movie.
Yeah, it has one of the best collapses of a villain in any movie of this guy falling off a cliff. It's incredible.
It's so good. I honestly,
it's got terrible dubs. So if you love bad dubs, it has terrible dubs in it. It's awesome.
It made me want to watch House by the Cemetery so bad.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Fulci I still don't think Fulci gets enough credit for what he did in the world of cinema. I think people often think of him as the gore guy or the eyeball guy, which he is, but also the guy just knew how to make vibing horror movies that look incredible. He was doing the stuff that De Palma was known for, the split diopter shots and the split screen shots. Fulci was doing that in Italy literally at the exact same time as De Palma, and I just don't think he gets enough credit for it. But yeah, I thought this was great. I would love to revisit it at some point. And then Don't Go in the Woods was great for all the wrong reasons. I'm nailing down the 4K
of that one.
Don't Torture a Duckling?
Yeah, I loved that one so much. I think I've seen all the ones that you have: The Gates of Hell, Zombie, New York Ripper. New York Ripper I turned off because I was just this is a little too much for me at the time. I do want to go back and finish it, but that one's a tougher watch, I feel like. And this one is it's less fun than most Fulci. I found this one kind of devastating, especially that midway sequence we were talking about. It's kind of a heavy movie, but it also has a lot of fun in it too. I don't know. Don't Torture a Duckling is one that I think we should cover at some point on the podcast, just because I feel like there is a deep dive conversation that we could do on that movie.
We haven't covered
Alone.
any giallos yet, so
no, because Gates of Hell trilogy isn't really giallo. No, those are all supernatural horror. So
Suspiria is also not a giallo. Just letting people know.
No, it might have some elements of it, but it's not a straight giallo at all.
No. Know what else is not a giallo? Don't Go in the Woods ... Alone.
Don't Go into the Woods is barely a movie.
It is 100% barely a movie. So, the first time I heard about this movie was literally in the room I'm in right now. When we recorded way back in the day, this is pre-pandemic, 2019, I believe. Met our friend Corey Jacobson for the first time, and we were talking about So Bad It's Good movies. So we brought up, of course, like The Room and Troll 2. Freddy Got Fingered. And he brought up this movie called Don't Go in the Woods, ... Alone, which was a slasher movie he had watched and caught the Blu-ray of from Vinegar Syndrome. I fell in love with the concept of it right away, of this weirdo mountain man out in the woods with a terrible score, killing people, and I was like, I have to find this movie. So I immediately ordered it off Vinegar Syndrome back then. Watched it, fell in love with it, and I was like, this is batshit insane, awesome, definitive So Bad It's Good. Thank you to our friend Corey for recommending a movie only Corey would have recommended. And make sure when you call this movie Don't Go in the Woods, use the proper title. Don't Go in the Woods, ... Alone.
Yeah, as soon as you told me that Corey had recommended this to you, I knew I was in for something.
Sam, he literally sat in this room that I'm in right now and sang the song that plays over the crowd. Don't go out in the woods tonight. The woods tonight. Da, 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 da.
Yeah, that's a very Corey thing to do. This is exactly the type of movie I would expect Corey to recommend, especially talking about So Bad It's Good.
So Bad It's Good, yeah.
This did Stockholm Syndrome me into loving it by the end. It was a rough start, I'm not gonna lie. I was like, what the fuck? I think if the score hadn't been as terrible as it is, I would have been in this movie easier, if that makes sense. Like, it would have been an easier, but like the score from the get-go is so godforsakenly awful that like I was just like, and I had my TV turned up because I always do for Joe Bob, like it's Joe Bob night, and I was like, I started turning my TV down because this score is legitimately one of the most headache-inducing things I've ever heard. Like, it is one Casio keyboard that I don't know. Oh God, it's
Joe
a
Bob
terrible,
said it perfectly.
Score.
He's like, why are there constant musical cues of a chainsaw and we never see a chainsaw in this movie?
Yes, agreed, 100%.
Yeah,
it's not even good chainsaw sounds. It's literally like, oh, they put a sample on a keyboard and keep hitting.
Kind of sounds
one
like a
key.
chainsaw. Yeah,
that kind of sounds like a chainsaw. It's bad.
Yeah, highly recommend. Don't Go in the Woods. ...
Yes.
Alone.
Yeah, it was a great Joe Bob episode.
Yeah.
We
also,
did a chat along on our Discord, and that was fun.
He got it done on time too. Like, we were done by like 12:15, I think.
Yeah, it was like 12:20 or something by the time he was doing his sign off, which was nice. Sometimes they go way later than that. So it was easier to stay up this whole time. Although I will say, by the end of the second movie, I was very much fighting my natural urge to be in bed and asleep.
That's why you needed it. That you needed that score to keep you on your toes.
The score kept me the fuck up. I'll tell you that.
That's all I've been doobie doing. Sam, what about you? What have you been doobie doing? What have you been up to?
So I've only really watched two other horror-esque things. I wouldn't even consider one of them horror. I watched The Great Flood on Netflix. Actually, I have another thing that I'll bring up too after these, because I'll end it on a positive note. The Great Flood. I didn't not like this movie. It's a Chinese movie about a researcher and her son who wake up one day to find that an asteroid has hit the polar ice caps. It has melted them instantly, and a flood is coming, and it's them trying to get up to the top of their high rise to get to safety for a chopper from her employer, because she's like a research person, to fly her and her son out. And as you get closer to the roof, you start realizing, like, oh, things aren't what they seem. There's a little bit of a sci-fi thing, like maybe the kid isn't even really like a human kid. And I won't say much more than that, but it goes to like, it almost turns into a time loop movie in the back half. And it threw me, because I put this on thinking it was going to be a straight up disaster movie. and it was not. Like, it gets kind of sci-fi and heady and a little Blade Runner almost. So it's one that, like, didn't quite land with me all the way, but it's also one that I haven't stopped thinking about since I watched it. I feel a little similar to this movie than the way I did with David Cronenberg's The Shrouds from last year, where I'm like, I gave that one like 3 stars, and I gave The Great Flood 3 stars. But I also think, like, if you're looking for something that's gonna be a little different and maybe challenge you a little bit, and like it might have bit off a little bit more than it can chew, but like there's some interesting ideas in there. The Great Flood on Netflix is actually a pretty decent movie to pop on. I on a less positive note, I watched the new Toxic Avenger. I didn't like it. It's not a bad movie. It's just not a very interesting one.
Yeah.
I dare I say it, I was kind of bored throughout this movie, and I'm shocked to say that because I really thought like the advertising for it looked fun. Like, I was bummed that I missed it in theaters, and when it popped up on Hulu, I was like, oh cool, like I'll watch it now. It was one that I was gonna make a priority before our top 10 list, and I'm kind of glad I didn't, because it's not bad, but it's not one I'll remember I even watched in a couple of weeks, to be honest with you, and that kind of bums me out. I didn't think the unrated nature was all that, like, there's not a ton of graphic violence in it. There's there's a few kind of funny gags, but like overall I was just like, this feels really tame. What was this unreleasable, like, it's too much nonsense that was happening? Because they released it unrated, but I'm like, I've seen R movies do more than this. Like, the first Omen did more than this. And that was a major studio horror movie.
Yeah. I think it's specifically for one scene where they show Toxie's dick. But yeah, like,
but it's like a quick shot too. It's not even like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I wish I liked it more. I know a lot of other people are, so like if you're still on the fence and curious about it, I guess like go for it and make your own opinion. But
it's easily the 5th best Toxic Avenger movie.
Yeah. Anyways, that one just, I don't know, didn't quite do it for me. On the TV front, I've been on and off of streaming services, and I got Disney Plus again because there was like a whole bundle thing going on, and I was like, sure. I finally finished Owl House, which is something that I believe I've talked about on this show before. I finally got to the 3rd season. Maria and I started it over from the beginning, and we binged it, and my God, if I'm gonna get up on a soapbox here real quick. If you are still an adult who was a Potterhead growing up like I was, it is time to ditch Harry Potter. I'm sorry, those books and that terrible woman are directly funding anti-trans things. We
fuck
can ask
J.K.
for
Rowling.
better. Yeah, fuck J.K. Rowling. If you want something that is inclusive to the LGBTQ community, including trans and non-binary people, if you want something that has a fuck ton of heart, has a lot of like cool horror imagery, and also has to deal with witches, but is all pretty wrapped up in a nice little gateway horror bubble that's animated for Disney, Owl House is your fucking franchise. Like, I am so bummed that the 3rd season got cut to like 3 50-minute episodes, because you can see where they could have stretched this out and like made it a little more impactful in the 3rd season. But what they do with what they get for the 3rd season is awesome. I really love this show. I will be buying it on physical media. Owl House fucking rules. And I hope that people go out and watch it, because it's seriously so good. Get past the first couple episodes. Like with every TV show, it starts off slow. It sets up a lot of pieces, and then once you get into the world building, it's amazing. Like, I love this show. So, yeah. Owl House for life. Hoot.
I do need to get back to it. We started watching it when it first came out on Disney Plus, but haven't gone back to it. Have you watched Gravity Falls? I think I asked you that last time you brought up Owl House.
Yes, I have. I haven't like watched it all the way through, but I've watched like episodes and stuff. I need to actually just like binge it because what I've seen is pretty
next
fun.
kids
My next Disney
gateway
binge.
horror binge. Yeah, I think it's only like 10 episode seasons, and it's only 2 seasons, I think.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Then
It's Twin Peaks for kids.
I love that. I love that. Hell yeah. So that's all I've been doobie doing.
That's it. Hey, guess what? We've doobie done a show. Let's wrap things up here and get to some plugs for the podcast. This is gonna be a long episode, but a ton of fun. This was so much fun to chat William Castle movies for damn near 2 hours. Sam, where can people find us online if they want to check out our previous episodes and maybe check out our previous interview with Haley Newlin?
Yeah, well, you can subscribe to us on Apple, Spotify, or YouTube if you like that video component. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Leave us a 5-star rating, a thumbs up, whatever goes on that platform. Like it helps us boost up in the algorithm and find more awesome people to talk horror with. You can also follow us on social media on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, and TikTok. Just search Screams from the Basement, and you'll get all of that good content, all of our episodes, as well as some other fun things that we're always posting there. So great way to interact with us if you're feeling that way, and join our Discord. Link in the notes. That's a more direct way to communicate with us.
Literally communicate with us. Yeah,
and we've had a ton of fun on the Discord recently. And that is a growing community.
We will be doing a game night at some point. I'm hoping this month of January. If I can figure out the logistics of us literally playing like a horror trivia board game on Discord, we'll do that within the next month. If you want to help support the show, join our Patreon. That's another way to help out the show. For as little as $1 a month, you get exclusive bonus content. If you join our $5 a month tier, you get our exclusive bonus podcast each and every month. And this month's was tier ranking our most anticipated horror films of the year. We talked about 30 horror films coming out in 2026, and we tier ranked them from our most excited to least excited. Sorry to Strangers Chapter 3. Spoilers on the episode. But yeah, check out our Patreon, link in the episode description. And then you can also check out our exclusive merch on tpublic.com/Screams from the Basement. Again, link in the episode description. Also, check us out on screamsfromthebasement.com. That's where you can get all of the stuff that we've talked about today. And you can check out our Screams by Night halfway to Halloween Con on our website. Simply just go to screamsfromthebasement.com to check out our lineup of guests, vendors, and so much more coming to Screams by Night, April 26th, 2025. No, 2020, April 25th, 2026. Oh my gosh. Too many 25s and 26s in there.
Yeah.
4/25/26.
Date literally just flip-flopped.
Yeah. That was on us. We literally flip-flopped 25 and 26 2 years in a row.
It's kind of funny how that works.
You'll find it all on screamsfromthebasement.com. And then next week we'll be back with a brand new interview with our old pal AJ Chambers, talking about his brand new film Orgy of the Dead 2. More on that next week. And 2 weeks from now we'll be talking about our Late Night at the State movie for the month of January, which is the double feature of Frozen and Iced. Which is, as this episode is coming out on Friday, what's Friday's date? Friday 16th. The 16th. If you are listening to this on Friday the 16th, go check us out at the State Theater tonight for Frozen and Ice.
Saturday night.
Saturday night. That's right. It's on a Saturday, not on a Friday.
Yeah. It's a weird late night that's on a Saturday, and it starts at 8:30 because we're playing 2 movies. 2 banger movies. One of them is a legit banger. One of them, you'll just hear me giggling in the back row for the entirety. I'm so excited.
We're hitting the ski slope, so check that out on Sioux Falls State Theater.com and get your tickets there. All right, Sam, let's wrap things up for this episode.
Hell yeah. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, and sweet screams.
listening to the Prescribed Films Podcast Network, home to hundreds of hours of free podcast entertainment. The shows on this network all have a common goal, providing you with the best discussions about movies and other forms of entertainment media. The PFPN hopes to fill your earholes with audio joy. Visit our website with links to all the other amazing shows at www.thepfpn.com. Thanks for listening.